Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Sovereign's non-meta tournament number 4, round number 5. This is the first feature match I have for you guys. And down at the bottom we have myself, who is on Time Thief, and up at the top we have Hero Master 77, who is on Lord of the Red Turbo. So it's kind of like a Red Eyes deck. But you're going to go ahead and see that, and he's got a very interesting list for you. So, it looks like I won the die roll. I'm going to be opting to go first. And unfortunately, if you look at my hand, it's a pretty big brick. Yeah, there's 4 normal summons here. And none of them really get me anywhere, except for maybe this Thoroughblade, which I think we'll see come down. And I can overlay that for a copy of Boarbow, then a Dryden on top of that, and pass my turn. So I do play Chakanine in my list, and I didn't put the Chakanine under because if I wanted an extra material for the next turn, I could use that with my Chakanine, because Dryden can obviously detach one of these zoos to pop a card, and then on my turn, I overlay a Chakanine on top of that and bring back whatever I detached. So that's pretty nice just to get an extra monster on field. I can also pop on my turn with the Dryden, so that's also kind of nice. He's going to go ahead and activate a copy of Pre-Preparation of Rites, which will add a ritual spell and then a monster with that card's name in the text. So Red Eyes Transmigration can search it because Lord of the Red is listed in its text, so that's pretty nice. Then it looks like he's going to be using a Talismandra to reveal Ritual Monster and special summoning it to the field. Then special summoning a copy of Kandal, which will go ahead and search for a Ritual Spell, just thinning the deck a little bit. Then he's going to use this Red Eyes Transmigration, tributing both the monsters on his field for the Lord of the Red. So this is basically Ghost Ogre the monster. That's the best way for me to explain it. So if a card or effect is activated, you can target a monster on the field and destroy it. And also if a card or effect is activated, you can target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it. And you can't chain it to itself, unfortunately, but it's still really nice. So he's going to go ahead and attack. I'm going to chain Dryden to pop the Lord of the Red. And I think he could chain the Lord of the Red there. I assume he just didn't, though. I don't know why. But Return of the Dragon Lords is going to be used in main phase 2 to bring back this copy of Lord of the Red, since it was summoned properly. And that's pretty good. He's going to pass this turn. I draw for turn. And in the main phase, I'm going to use Winder's Effect, detaching the Dryden to summon itself. And then he is going to use Lord of the Red's effect to pop the Dryden. That's fine. I'm going to use Winder to go ahead and search. He chains Crackdown, so he's going to get my monster to his field, and I'm going to search for a copy of Regulator. So he still has a spell Trap pop here, but I think I can still play around it. So I'm going to use Regulator. And on the summon... Oh, I realize now. Yeah. So Regulator has to summon 2 Time Thief monsters with different names from your deck. And I attributed Regulator in attempt to activate the effect. And I realized I actually can't resolve it because I play 4 different names in my deck. But it can't summon itself. So it can summon a Winder, obviously. And the other 2 names I have is Chronocorder and Bezelship, which, as you notice, are both in my hand. So I technically cannot legally activate Regulator, so I just have to pass my turn. He draws for turn, drawing into BLS, and then summons his copy of Black Metal Dragon, which he can use to link off into a copy of Link Karibo. Search for a copy of Red Eyes Insight, and then he's going to use this insight to send a copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon to the graveyard and search for a Red Eyes Transmigration. So an interesting note about this deck is that he could play Guard Dragon Pitsy, because Striker Dragon is banned in this format. So the only good dragon to Link 1 dragon to summon is Guard Dragon Pitsy, because LP is also banned. And then he could search for a copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal, banish the Pitsy, summon it, and then bring back the Metal Dragon, and then he could just link into an IP or something like that right there, and then he could search for the Red Eyes Transmigration off of the Insight. So it would thin the deck a little bit, and he would end with IP instead of this Link Karibo. I think he should be playing that combo because it's pretty good, actually. I mean, ending with IP instead of Link Karibo, and he would end with the same board anyways. So that's a little critique of his deck, I guess I have. He could definitely do that. Or us, if I can speak. Also, he could just play Romulus and then search for Dragon Ravine, and then have Dragon Ravine send Tempest to grave, and then he has some follow-up there, which is also really nice. Or he could obviously search for a rocket engine, but I think that is not really the route he's wanting to take. So he's going to go ahead and reveal this copy of Red Ice Transmigration. I'm not sure why. Oh, he's banishing a light and dark out of his grave, duh. And searching for BLS, or specialing BLS. And obviously, I think this is game here. 24, and then 3024. But on the activation of the BLS, I do have a Gamma, which is really nice. And I'm going to opt to put the driver in attack mode and the Gamma in defense mode. And yeah, so he's going to use Lord of the Red to kill my Gamma. And the end phase, my driver gets banished. So that's kind of how that happens, unfortunately. I'm going to go ahead and normal summon a copy of Chrono Quarter, go into the battle phase, attempt to clear over this Link Karibo, and he's just going to use the Lord of the Red, I think it was? Or I'm not sure how this Chrono Quarter actually ended up dying. I might be missing something, but I don't think I activated any effects. Maybe I attempted to use the effect? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how Chrono Quarter ended up in the graveyard. Maybe it's just a card or effect is activated. Oh, okay. So maybe he used Link Reboot Chained Lord of the Red pop. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Candle is going to be revealed here, revealing the Red Ice Transmigration, and then he's going to special summon the Talismandra, which will add a ritual monster from the deck to hand, adding Lord of the Red. Using Lord of the Red, he's going to go ahead and banish the Red Ice Darkest Metal, specialing it. And then he's going to tribute summon for the OG Red Eyes, and that's game, obviously. So, moving into game number 2, I got completely, absolutely wrecked, just because I drew a lot of 1-ofs that I didn't want to see, but yeah. Normal summon of Winder is going to be used here, and I'm going to search for a copy of Regulator, and obviously I have no extenders, so I just kind of have to pass. So I have a copy of Flyback, which is also kind of nice, but it does kind of suck. So a copy of Insight is going to be activated here to send a Red Eyes from deck to grave, sending the Red Eyes Darkness Dragon, adding the Ritual Spell. And then he's going to go ahead and use this Ritual Spell to banish the Darkness Metal out of the grave to special summon Lord of the Red. So he's got a really nice field here. I mean, Ghost Ogre the monster plus Solemn Judgment. It's pretty nice. He's going to swing over for 600. I'm going to take it, and he's going to pass his turn. So I draw for turn, drawing into a copy of Regulator. I'm going to normal Regulator, use the effect. He's going to chain Lord of the Red to pop my Flyback. That's fine. I'm going to special Chrono Quarter and Bezel Ship from the deck. And then he is going to go ahead and attempt to use Judgment here, but actually you can't use Judgment because even though it says when a monster would be summoned, that it can only negate summons that don't start chains, and Regulator is a monster effect that does start a chain, obviously, so he can't use Judgment, and that is a weird type of ruling there, but that is definitely how that works. And since he's playing Ghost Ogre the deck, it is basically a direct counter to Time Thief Redoer, so I probably shouldn't have summoned Redoer here, but I did. So I can't really take it back. I probably should have summoned the Light Dragon at Ignister. He might have hit it with the Solemn Judgment though, so that would have sucked, but he looks like he didn't. So I'm going to use Flyback to go ahead and attach from his graveyard. He chains Lord of the Red to pop my Redoer, and then I chain Redoer's effect, and then I detach, and then I use the Chrono Quarter to summon itself back. In the end phase, Redoer comes back as well. Standby phase, I use Redoer. And actually, I don't use Redoer, it looks like, because obviously he would just kill it with Lord of the Red. So he goes into battle phase and just crashes it. And in the main, or Regulator summons itself back because a Xyz monster was I control was destroyed by battle. So that's kind of nice for me. But he just brings it back with Return of the Dragon Lord. So he's got protection on it now, and that kind of sucks. So main phase 1, I go ahead and normal summon this copy of Tracer. He thinks that that is too big of a threat, so he uses a Solemn Judgment on it. I go ahead and overlay it into my copy of Light Dragon at Ignister, and then I'm going to use the effect to attempt to pop the Lord of the Red. He uses the effect to pop my Light Dragon Ignister, which I chain, or I don't chain, but I use his protection effect by detaching material, and his would die, but he's just going to use Return of the Dragon Lords to protect. So, pretty nice on his part. And I'm just going to set a card and pass my turn. So, he goes into battle phase and attacks 100 over. In main phase 1, I use the effect Veiler, and negate the Lord of the Red. He should have just chained it here to pop my back row. I don't think he wanted to or something. I don't know. A little confusing, but Regulator is going to be activated in the damage step here to summon itself back. And yeah. Then I draw for turn, drawing into a copy of Call by the Grave. I normal summon this copy of Regulator, and I am out of Time Thief monsters in my deck, so I can't use the effect. But I can overlay it, so I do for a copy of Redoer. Again, I use the effect to detach, and I believe he chains Lord of the Red here, targeting my back row, and then I chain Flyback to attach a card to my Redoer. I think that's what happens, it seems. Or maybe I use Flyback, he chains the Lord of the Red, targeting my Redoer, and then I chain Redoer. I think. I don't know. But that's going to go ahead and bring back... or maybe I use Bezelship. I actually don't know exactly how this chain worked. I assume I used Bezelship, detaching material, and then he chained Redoer or Lord of the Red to pop? I don't know. It's a very confusing chain, I think. But I think I probably could have ordered it better. Anyways, I'm going to overlay for a copy of Chaganine, and then into a copy of Borbo, and then a copy of Trident. And I'm just going to go ahead and activate it and pop a card and pass my turn. In the end phase, Redoer comes back. He draws for turn, drawing into a Solemn Judgment. I grab a spell off of his deck, which is called Hermos. And then he's going to go ahead and activate Return of the Dragon Lords. I chain Call by the Grave, banishing its target. And he passes his turn. Standby phase, I use Redoer to attach a BLS. And this Trident's actually pretty nice here. I'm going to use the effect of Bezelship to summon itself back, which is also really nice. And I can normal summon Tracer and overlay into a copy of Perpetua. And he's just going to Solemn Judgment the Perpetua, which I guess makes sense. But I mean, either way, I had game since this is 24 and 19, so that's 43 either way. So I'm just going to go ahead and attack for game here. So it's a very complicated game state. His deck just is a direct counter to Time Thief, unfortunately. But he opts to go first this time, so we'll see. So he's got a Red Eyes Insight, sending the vanilla and then searching for the ritual spell, obviously. Then he's going to go ahead and use Return of the Dragon Lords to bring the normal Red Eyes. And then he's going to use Red Eyes Darkness Dragon, tributing a Red Eyes and summoning it to the field. So that's kind of interesting. He can also equip a Black Metal Dragon to it, which will give it 600 attack. And it has a search when it dies, which is kind of nice. So this guy is pretty big right now, I guess. I mean, he's 33, so kind of interesting. So I go ahead and activate Lightning Storm, declaring monsters. He's just going to use the Return of the Dragon Lords to protect, which is fine. I use Tracer, activate Call by the Grave, chain Tracer, and then I go ahead and get this Magnet Rocket, banish the Red Eyes, and then I can activate Shade Brigandine, use it, and overlay for a Time Thief Redoer, and then use Redoer to just put that on the top of the deck. And he's stuck with a really bad draw, so that's really unfortunate. And then he's just going to use this Black Metal Dragon to search for the Red Eyes Darkness Metal, so he kind of unbricks himself, which is really nice. Then I'm going to attack him for 24 and 18. And I don't remember if the monster is destroyed in the end phase. It looks like it actually isn't destroyed during the end phase, so that is really interesting. So I just passed my turn. He draws for turn, drawing into Red Eyes Transmigration. Unfortunately, he's drawing pretty bad, but he goes ahead and normal summons this Gear Feed 3 Iron Knight. And yeah, very interesting card. And he passes his turn. Redoer gets another monster. I use the effect of Winder to summon itself, searching for a copy of Retrograde. And then I can go ahead and overlay for a copy of Perpetua. Use Perpetua to attach a trap to Redoer, and then I can use Redoer's effect to put this on top, and then attack for game here. So I think I might have been able to make a couple of better plays here, but unfortunately I didn't really see it. And I'm glad I ended up winning this game somehow. But yeah, it was crazy. I just wasn't really able to draw the cards I needed for the beginning of the games, but towards the end I was able to grind it out, so that was pretty nice. So that's gonna do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed my absolute terrible gameplay, I guess, and deck building skills of me drawing all my one-ofs. But yeah, with all that said, I will see you guys in the next one.